Alright, now for all you RC addicts, going to be extending this frame. This is a axial honcho steel scale frame. I bought it specifically for my dually build, and I'm just taking measurements now. 0.439 and 0.195, and thickness is 0.45. I've found some of this steel that I've had, and it is 0.445. So this is the right stuff to use. So I gotta run in and grab my steel cutters. I was originally going to use this for a power steering fluid box for Beastie, but I've got a lot more of this, so I'll be cutting it up and modifying this. I'm probably going to cut it here on both the frames because I don't want to mess with these 4 holes, because those are for I also don't want to ruin the symbol because it's kind of cool looking, but those 4 holes are for mounting the transfer case cross member. So what I got to do is basically cut it there, extend it, I think about 5 inches. I got to go in and grab the axial dually anyways, because I modified the other aluminum frame, which is why I had to buy this, because this is steel and I can weld to it. Anyways, I got to cut a piece of this out and try to bend it. I've got to find something that is 0.342 wide, so that I can, once I cut this, I'm going to try to wrap it around it to get a nice contour to it, and we'll just see how that works. If not, then I will figure something else out. I took a piece of metal like this, just flat, and using special metal forming techniques, I built a C-channel frame extension. I'll show you guys how I did this. It's a little bit rough, as you can see. It's got some tool marks on it, but this side's probably the worst. But that little bit of really coarse grit sandpaper or something like that should take that right off. Or I've got buffing discs that I could just hit it with the angle grinder real quick and just tidy it up. But it is almost an exact match. It's just a little bit bigger. Let's try to get it so you guys can see it. It's just a little bit bigger, but I can stick this in the vise and crush it down a little bit just to make it fit. But pretty freaking close, hey? Friggin' right. I couldn't find anything the exact size of the inner diameter between the 2 inner frame rails, or the C-channels, but I found something that's very close, and it works pretty good. So I'll move you guys over to the vise so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully it's not too dark over there. But after I'm done forming this one, I have to take them and drill out the holes. So what I'll probably do is flip it like that and then transfer the holes through and then drill them. So let's get to forming. Okay, please excuse the mess. I've got turbos laying everywhere. I got one there, I got an injector pump there, and another turbo. Where's my finger going? I can't see. Down there. So yeah, I've got a lot of projects going on right now, but I feel like doing this one right now, so I need to adjust those jaws, dang it. Okay, some friggin' scuffed knuckles later, and jaws are tight, no more loose. Okay, so we're gonna want to spread the jaws just a little bit less than what the material is wide. Probably that will do it. I'll go a little bit more. Push that down so it doesn't wander on me. And this is what I found that is as close to the inner diameter of those of the C as I can get it. So I'll basically just lay this down as centered as I can get it. Probably about there, looks good. And these are handy dandy hammer. And give it a bit of a whack. And the piece does fall quite a bit, so make sure the ground underneath is clean so you can easily find it when it falls, not if it falls. We want to keep this piece here, I'm just using a punch, a square punch, as centered in the jaws as you can get it. And then just keep hitting it like that. And pretty soon you'll see you've got the edges of it. This is nice because it's rounded edges just like the frame. Once we get a little bit more of a C to this piece of metal, I'll tighten the jaws a little bit. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. I just tightened it just a little bit. And we'll just keep doing this until we have the basic C shape. And once it starts to fold up onto the sides of it, we'll employ another technique. It's getting very close. And one thing, you do not want to tighten the jaws more than the thickness of the material on either side plus this, otherwise you're just going to ruin it. I might have it a wee bit too tight. If you can get it to do that, it's a little bit too loose. So, there's definitely some fidgeting to doing this, but it's worth it. Cool. So that's probably about got her. Now what I'll do is I'll jam it into there and squish it with the vise, so that it's flat against the side of it, just like that. Now, oh, I've got to do it there too. If this was longer, it'd be perfect, or if my frame rails weren't quite so long, it would be good as well. Now I'll just raise it up, just a little bit less than that, just so that the punch, or whatever you guys are using, is a little bit above the top of the jaws. Tighten that down pretty good. And then fold her over. Move it in. Clamp it down. We'll do the same on the bottom side, and then we're pretty much done. And then I'm just gonna have to transfer the holes and drill them out. And you learn as you go as well. This is only the second one I've ever done, and it's already looking nicer than the first one. But way she goes. It's called learning curve, or it's like the first pancake. It's never perfect. Second one's always better. And the third one's better than the second one. And so on and so forth. So, now we've got our second frame rail. It's a little bit high on one side, so I could take it just gently clamp it. Not too much because you'll start to bow this out, but that might be good enough. Okay, so we got our 2 frame rails. Let's test. This is only just made. Test it out. Look at that. That is perfect. Yeah, it might be like, no, it's not. That's perfect. Oh, that's exciting. The contour, or the roundedness of it is just a little bit bigger than this, but I don't have their special magic tool to make this, but this is going to be very close enough. You won't notice unless you're looking really hard. But now that I've made this video, everyone's gonna know. So now I need to figure out where I need these holes to be, and then transfer and drill. So to find out where I need the holes, I'm going to measure off. What am I going to measure off? I'll use this front transfer case. I'll find the middle where the screw would go, and I will go right about there. So 1.881, that's how far my 2 closest holes are together. Okay, so you guys can see I've marked with a piece of tape where I'm going to cut. I'm going to want to keep the blade as straight as possible, that's why I've used the tape. I have a freaking little hand saw thing. I do have a big bandsaw, but it's a weird size and I'm having trouble finding blades for it. So I need to measure, and if I need to, I'll have to modify the bandsaw to accept a standard size blade, which I believe is 56 inches. But so I'll take this guy over to the vise. Might use some paper towel or something to clamp this down in between the this and the jaws so it doesn't mar up the frame. But yeah, so I'll do that and we should be good to go. Alrighty, so I got my frame in 2 halves now. Now I need to measure and find out where I need to drill these holes. Cool. So that is 1.881. First hole will go right where that tooth mark is. Sweet. I think I forgot my Sharpie. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my marks all transferred. What I did, well, you guys see me, I measured from there to there, found the first mark, and all I did is I flipped the frame, centered it with the other piece, and then I centered the dot, and I marked each one. So now this is going to be welded to that, and then this will be welded to that. Friggin' rights. Okay, and if you're gonna weld, make sure you clean everything up off the floor. This was down there, and I just finished welding the frames up, but yeah, she friggin' little ember landed down on the ground, and that went up like crazy. So just make sure there's no flammables near where you're welding. Luckily, well, not luckily I guess, but I'm used to things lighting on fire and catching fire and being burned and all that stuff, so I didn't panic or freak out or anything, but I just reached down, grabbed it, and put it on something that's not flammable, so, and I turned the camera on. So yeah, just a little note. Make sure there's no flammables when you're welding. Well, got them done. I just need to paint them. So I ground them inside and out. Pretty freaking smooth. There, that's focusing a little better. There's a little bit of a gap there, but I can fill that. But yeah, not too shabby. Considering it's my first time modifying something this freaking small. I barely have to weld stuff this small. Not really. Well, I'm not a fan of it. It's just not what I'm used to, that's all. And I got some slag in here, I gotta drill that out. But, yeah. So now I can start slapping this guy together.